Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have very special review impressions of a knife loaned to me from Mr. Eddie. We're looking at the Microtech Troodon. This is the Microtech Combat Troodon. This is the DE Gen 3 Stonewash Standard. Alright, so I'm looking at the Microtech Combat Troodon. Again, this is the DE Gen 3 version. It's a Stonewash Standard, which I think is this, right? So we're going to talk about that. I don't own a lot of Microtech knives. I've had an MSI, I've had a Stitch, and I had a an Annex. I've checked out a SOCOM Bravo Mini SE. And those are the ones I've checked out, but this is the first really OTF that I've checked out. I've handled it at a store, but I've never really had a chance to kind of handle it and feel it. Now, I've heard a lot of things about the Combat Troodon. People talk about, you know, there's a different experience in the actuation of the OTF when it opens and closes, and it's powerful. And I was like, yeah, okay. And when I did the unboxing, they were right. They were absolutely right. It is impressive. So when you open this thing, if you didn't know, you can feel that power. You can feel it open and you can feel it close. It is impressive. It is truly a powerful, I would say, a very powerful OTF, out the front automatic. Now, keep in mind, knives like this can be illegal in some states, so this may not be legal in your state. So if you're looking at these, you know, follow your state and local knife laws. In Texas, where I'm from, these are absolutely 100% illegal. Are legal. Matter of fact, they can be over 5, 10 inches, whatever. It doesn't matter, right? The only thing is kids under 18 can't carry a knife that's over 5.5 inches. And they can if they are with parents and or if they're on a hunting, sporting, or whatever fishing trip, then that's okay, right? So like a fillet knife is completely fine. Or you know, knife if you're out deer hog hunting or something like that, right? So anyways, very, very cool knife. It's robust. It's big. It's really made for people with big giant hands or people who love really big knives. I'm a person who likes a big knife to the extent that I can control it and feel comfortable with the size of my hands. I have large hands, big meaty fingers, which gives me usually a width grip, very similar to an extra large, double extra large hands, right? But I've got short fingers, and so I'm kind of in that weird ergonomics that other people don't always deal with. I've got shorter fingers, so some of my grips are similar to people with medium hands, but my width of my hand are similar to people with large, extra large hands, right? And so if we were to put our width hands apart, I'm probably going to be always equal to a extra large type of hand, right? But if you put my fingers forward, I'm going to be equal to like a medium hand. So it's kind of a bummer, right? So that's why it's large in between. Typically I get large gloves. They're a little tight getting on, and I always have a little bit of room. If I put a medium glove and it really stretches, it'll be perfect in the room in the fingers. If nothing stretches, I can put an extra large hand on. It fits comfortably, but I got a lot of flap up here. So yeah, that's my struggle. So this knife is really cool. All right, the knife name is the Microtech Combat Troodon. This particular version is what they call D/E. I don't know what that means, but it's the Gen 3 Stonewash Standard, which I'm pretty sure means the Stonewash Standard. And this is a true I don't really call it harpoon. This is a true why in the world is my brain just shutting down? But it's sharpened on both sides, so it's a dagger. It's a true dagger. Gosh, sorry guys. In some states, daggers are not illegal, so just keep that in mind. In Texas, they're perfectly fine. So this is a true dagger. It's rather large. We'll do measurements here in a second. I believe this is M390 MK, so it's a Microtech. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Microtech version of it. It has this nice cutout in the middle, which is cool. How about that edge? Does it look pretty even on both sides? Yeah, it's not bad. And is it pretty centered on top? Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so pretty centered. Now it is, like most OTFs, it's going to be off a little bit. It's not dead centered there, so see it over to the right a little bit. That is something typical. Now these, the newer Gen 3s of Microtech do have the torque screw, so you could take it apart if you wanted to. I wouldn't do it myself personally. Here it's possible. If I had a lot of OTFs, I was into OTFs, it'd probably be something I'd regularly do. I believe this is a T30. I measured this during the unboxing, and these are T8s. And so you could take this apart if you wanted to, very nicely, which is cool, nice. I believe that's either aluminum or that is titanium. I know that's aluminum, I know that's titanium, and I know that's the steel, right? So it's a pretty nice knife. I love the Cerakote or the PVD, I don't know what they call it, that's done on aluminum really nicely. I don't use and abuse test. This is not my knife, first of all. If you loan me a knife, I'm not gonna abuse it. I'll probably just check it out here at the desk. I might take it out into the backyard, do a short if it's something that's I think could do a cool short. Sometimes I don't do a short because I usually have other knives I'm always carrying. So usually whatever knife I'm carrying is what I do a short on. So that's why a lot of times if I'm loaned a knife, I don't always get a short in, because sometimes I'm trying to get these knives back to people really fast because they're loaning to me. They're loaned to me, and I know some of them. For me to continue to be able to borrow these knives, I got to be expeditious in doing my unboxing and my review and getting it back to them. And I don't want to hang on to a knife forever, especially a very nice knife, a more expensive knife. I don't want to have that liability, right? So I want to get it back to them. So yeah, in this case, that's what I'm doing. I'm just checking it out here. Microtech is the designer, which I believe it might be Marfion. Marfion's probably the one who designed this, right? The manufacturer is Microtech, USA made here in the United States. We talked about the name, the materials, aluminum handles. I believe these are, I'm pretty sure these are steel or titanium screws. Yeah, it's steel. There's steel screws, and this is steel back here, titanium clip right here. It does have a little glass breaker here, so that's nice, but it's not like the typical old giant pokey thing, which is really nice. I like that. This is a very usable, acceptable glass breaker. If you're going to do this, this is cool. This is really cool. This is not obnoxious. And this ball works nicely going in and out of the pocket because it actually rotates and it's a smooth surface. These actually work, and look, they actually flex. If you're going to do this, you got to have the ability to flex. You don't want to have a big giant chunk of titanium or steel and it never moves, right? This step mill kind of a pattern going up and down is really nice. This works really great. Gives you great texture going in, great texture closing it. So that works really, really nice. Minimal billboarding on a knife like this. You got the emblem right there and it's etched in. It's very non-obtrusive, not very in your face. It says Combat Troodon. It doesn't need to be that big, probably not. Could it be much smaller? Could you say Combat Troodon in the space of here? Yes, you could. But it's not on both sides, so you know it's better. Now, of course, they have the typical Microtech, USA 1 2024, all that stuff that they always do, which that's over billboarding. You're saying Microtech here, you got the emblem, that's good, right? Anyways, that's just me. The lock type, it is an OTF, and that means there's spring and levers in here that as you pull it this way, there's a point that you break past, and then it'll pull the blade down and close it automatically. And then it locks in place. And then likewise, you get past this point, there's a point of return where it pops over and then it'll just deploy it. So it's double action. It opens, it's assisted open, and it automatic open and automatic close, right? So you have some that are single action where you literally pull it back, you lock it, and then you open it. And when it comes out, it has incredible force and it can go through stuff or into stuff. This is meant to be that if it hits something, it's not my knife, and I'm not doing this with an OTF. That's not my knife, just so you know. This is not my knife, and I'm not doing that. So you guys, well, why didn't you show it? Why don't you go in the wall? It's not my knife. And even if it was my knife, why do I want to do that? I don't want to, I know that they go off their track. I'm just not going to show you that, right? Watch someone else who does destructive tests. If you have a knife you want me to show you on, and you want to give me the knife to do it, I'm more than happy to do that. But this is not my knife, and even if it was my knife and it was a collection piece, I probably wouldn't do it, right? But they are meant so that if they go out, they don't go all the way through your hand. They'll stop. It'll still poke you because it's sharp, but it's not meant to like actually go all the way through your hand. So, which is nice. But this is such a strong one, so this one's going to poke you a little better because it's really, really, really powerful. All right, the blade shape, M390MK. It's a Microtech version of the steel. I don't know their heat treat exactly. I've heard it's okay. It's not the best, which I'm guessing they're like 68, 58, 60 to 59, maybe 60 if you're lucky. I think M390 should be 60, 61, 62. I know I have some Trevor Berger custom knives when they come in and they're M390. They're usually 61, 62 for M390. So, I mean, if the custom knife makers are going, you know, there, that's probably, you know, if we can get 60, 61, that'd be best, but it is what it is. All right. So we talked about that. We talked about all of that. So let's do some measurements. Let's measure this guy because it's a cool knife. It's not a little knife, so it's not going to be super light. Trust me. This is, I'm going to guess 4.5 ounces probably. I don't know. 5 ounces. It is 5 ounces. That makes sense. It's a big knife. 5 ounces of OTF goodness right there. All right. So let's measure this guy. How big is this guy? Because it's not a little knife. All right. So going from the very tip to the very back, we're looking at 9.5 inches. If you go to the very bit of the glass breaker, it's exactly 9.5 inches. Handle length. If you go from down here, you got 5 inches. If you go up on top, you got 5.25 inches, right? So that's plenty of room for large hands. You can see my hand, plenty of room, extra large, double extra, triple extra, quadruple extra large, Shaquille O'Neal hands. You're all set. You're good to go. Blade length wise, this is definitely not California legal because if you go from the tip to there, it's about 4 inches. Now, if you go from, you know, depending on how they measure it, they may measure it all the way to a point and 6 out. So it'd be 4.25, maybe 4.125. Overall cutting length, if we go from here, it is 3 3/4. Yeah, about 3 3/4. I'm going to guess 3 3/4. So it's definitely a good sharpening. It's got a good blade length. Lots of cutting ability. So where does this knife run? Is it a budget knife? No. Is it a regular knife? $100 to $300? No. Is it in the higher end knife? $300 to $600? Yes. Yes, absolutely. The standard version usually runs, I believe when I saw it, like $450, $460, $470. You can get different versions that can be way, way more. Different things they do, different blade shapes, different finishes, different things. You can get some of the, I don't know what they call the elite, the limited, what, the ones that basically like maybe Marfion, or they do some hand sort of extras on there and they get very expensive. But this one is about $460. I want to say $468, $469, $470, somewhere around there. It's a beautiful knife. I mean, I think it's a reasonable price for a USA made quality product. Sure, it is. If you like Microtech, you like the size, I don't think that's an unreasonable price. I do not think it's an unreasonable price. Some people may think it is, but for what you're getting here, no. Could it be cheaper? Sure. Is it reasonable? Yeah, if you like the knife, right? A knife is worth what you're willing to pay for it. And apparently, since they keep selling out, people are willing to pay it. So there we go. All right, the purpose. Is it EDC, hard use, a collection piece? Absolutely, all the above. You could EDC this knife. You could hard use this knife as far as an OTF. Again, it's an OTF. What can you do with an OTF? How do you, what's hard use for that? Right? Don't make it an axe. Don't make it a fixed blade. It's not going to chop wood and you know, be a pry bar and stuff. You know, it's a knife. It's an OTF. It's going to be it's a slicing tool. It's meant to be a cutter, getting into boxes, you know, cases of water, dog food, cat food, mulch, fertilizer, whatever you're doing in the yard, right? It's a tool. Let it be that. Can it be a collection piece? Absolutely, it's a collection piece, especially something like this because you're in a collection piece level at the price of this one, right? I think this is absolutely 100% a collection piece. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if it's $450, $470. It might even be $550 now that I think about it. I got to look this up. Maybe I'm thinking of old prices, but it's not cheap, and I think it's reasonable. I'll just say that. All right. I'm second guessing myself what I'm remembering because I looked at a bunch of different knives right before this, and so now I'm not sure. I should have wrote it down. I know I didn't. Gosh, forgive me. All right. What about ergos and feel, overall design? So it fits well in the hand. There's no hot spots there. I got to tell you, you can squeeze that thing all day. That ball, it's fine. It's fine. It's big, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. There's no issues whatsoever. Opening, this texture, the angle, everything, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You're not going to slip. You're not going to fall. Closing it, absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is a beautifully well designed. Gen 3 made this so much easier. I remember handling some of the Gen 1s, Gen 2s, and opening, they were like, oh, you gotta really work on them. This is so much easier. So much easier. They really improved this, made it a lot nicer, especially for the power I feel coming out. Whoo, yeah, definitely. All right, so overall design, opening, closing is cool. It's an OTF. It opens, it closes. That's it. That's it. No bonus flick. That's it. Now, the bonus is it's got a blade on one side and blade on the other, and both sides are sharpened on this particular knife, so keep that in mind. So if you hold this, Don't go up and pushing down like that. You'll be slicing your thumb, like finger, like I did on, which I did really dumb, talking to my son and not paying attention. Anyways, we won't talk about that. Just don't. If you're flicking a knife and you're talking intensely, put your knife down. Just remember that. That's my rule from now on. Will I follow it? I don't know, but that's going to be my rule. At least that's what I'm telling myself. All right, fidget factor. It's an OTF. You got open and close, but you know, OTFs are fidgety. They're fun. You could do this all day long, like non-stop, and it's just so much fun. And Microtech is a tool that you could do this a million times. This knife probably could actuate 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 times, and it'll be absolutely fine because they're just made well. So, is it the fidget factor scale on this one? To me, it's a different kind of category. I gotta rate it differently. It's not a button lock. It's not a frame lock. It's not an inset liner lock. It's not a shark lock. It's not a tri lock. You know, this is an OTF. It's automatic out, automatic in, double action. So because it's double action and double action works well, I'm going to go ahead and give the fidget factor of this one because we're dealing with automatics. I almost feel like automatics need to have their own categories, right? We should almost give fidget factors of automatics separately. I'm going to give this, I'll do that. This is an automatic fidget factor. It's probably not fair because I've done some of the other ones before, but I will say on a regular fidget factor, this is going to be a 3, an absolute solid 3. Beautiful going in and going out, working great. So fidget factor 3. If I was to do it on an automatic fidget factor scale, I think this one would be like an 8, maybe a 9. Quite frankly, maybe an 8 or 9. Just everything the way it works. I think it's going to be probably a solid 8 for sure. All right, so let's go on to 3. Now, basically fidgety goodness, whether it's a 3 or an 8, what's the goodness of opening and closing on this one? As big as it is, and probably I'd never buy one of these. I'll never have one of these in my collection because it's just too goofy big, but it makes me want to look at the size below it. The fidget factor, the fidgety goodness on this one is 100%, dude. I get it. I mean, it is powerful. You're like, oh, you feel it. And you're like, if you didn't like OTFs and you do this one, you're like, oh, I don't know. I might like OTFs now. I mean, seriously, it's good. It's good. It's that good. So, yeah, definitely really, really stinking cool. Really, really stinking cool. Now it makes me want to check the one right below it and see if is it that significantly less? Is it close? Is it close enough? Because that would be stinking cool, right? But yeah, it's definitely 100%. 100% fantastic, absolutely beautifully executed. Just too big for me, but absolutely beautifully executed. Is it recommended? 100% recommended. I mean, it's I know the target. It's people who want really giant, big OTFs, big knives, and this does it all and does it well, and it's great. I can actually carry this. I can use this. It's not impossible for me to carry and use. It's just big, and it's not something I would carry and use, but it's absolutely very usable in my size hands, shorter fingers. It works flawlessly, and I think it'll work flawlessly with bigger hands. Absolutely. So yeah, it's 100% recommended. 100% recommended. So it definitely will go in my high-end recommended knives. So for sure. Very, very cool knife. Very appreciative to Mr. Eddie allowing me to check it out. Definitely a knife that I think you should check out if you haven't already. So let's just kind of zoom in a little bit. I don't think I did that yet. So let's look at that blade. There's a Combat Troodon. Look at that double edge right there. You can see the nice sharp edges all the way around. You see there's the torque screw, the nice recessed, or I guess embossed or etched Microtech emblem. Probably looks a little better with the angle there. And then you see the screws back there. It's a big old T30. This is what actually locks this clip in place. You can take that out and reverse it. So it's left hand, right hand, tip up, left hand, right hand clip, wherever you want. So if you're left-handed, you want to pull it out of your hand left-handed like this, but you want it to go the clip in this way. You can reverse it and then hold it like that, right? So that means this clip would be over here. So you can do that. All right. So let's look at the back part here. This is where, again, you have the clip, and let's look real quick. There's the glass breaker. Very subtle, not super big, not sticking out. It's not pokey. It's not going to get you. I like that. Nice texture on the side, by the way. This gives you good grip. It's very aggressive, but it's not overly aggressive. I like that. Here's the beautiful clip. You can see that big ball. It does rotate, does move in and out of the pocket really nicely. So that's really, really stinking cool. All right, so let's look at this clip. Here we got more of the aggressive. You see the texture, and this slides really well over here. Look at the step milling going all the way up and all the way down. So, and it's got like a little, like your hand fits in there really nicely. So let me show you. You go in here, works really nice. Go in here, works really nice. It's very fit. It feels really good. Really, really good. All right, so over here is the back of the blade. There's nothing on there at all. You can see where it's off to the side just a little bit. It's a little closer to this side than that side, but that's fine. It's typical of a lot of OTFs. It's rare that there are some who don't have that, but it's not the norm, right? So very, very cool little knife. All right, so let me go ahead and do here. I'll just do this right here so we can have a nice little, I don't know, a little thumbnail for the video. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful little shot. I like this knife. It's cool. It's cool. Now, if someone were to give me the knife or has a present, would I say no? No, of course not. Absolutely have it in my collection if it was a gift. I wouldn't be like, oh man, you know, it's a piece of crap. I got to hold my collection. No, this is really nice. It's just not one I'd go out of my way to buy because it's big, right? I would probably want the one that's smaller for sure for myself. Makes me want to look at that one. Maybe I got to put that on my list next to check out. But there you go. Very, very nice. Thank you, Mr. Eddie. Really cool little knife. I think it's definitely worth, why am I zooming? What the heck am I doing here? Very cool knife, definitely worth checking out. So let me go ahead and put this on here. Hey, if you have one, you've enjoyed it, what's your experience? I'd love to hear from you, what you think of the knife. That would be really, really stinking cool. So let me know in the comments down below. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button down below, maybe also hit the subscribe button down below. Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel, allows the channel to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you to everyone out there who watches the videos, who likes the videos, who part of the live streams, part of the community. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you. If you haven't already, hit that notification button down below so you can be notified of future content like this video and other videos. And also a big shout out, thank you to my channel members. You allow me to do things way sooner than I ever thought I would ever be able to do. You help encourage the once a week giveaways. You help me to check out knives like this, to cover shipping, to be able to get those back to people. These are things I wouldn't be able to do. It'd be just too much and too expensive for me to be able to do. So thank you to every one of you guys out there. And if you said, hey, I'd like to become a channel member, what's the deal about channel member? Well, I do 2 exclusive things for channel members. One, I do a once a month members exclusive giveaway. It's usually a nicer knife, not just a little budget banger like I do every week for everybody. Once a month, you get a kind of an exclusive, nicer knife. You know, we're talking like, you know, definitely over $100, maybe $200 kind of thing. So at least that, right? That's my goal. As long as you're generous to me, I want to be generous back to you and show my appreciation. So that's what I do. The other thing is I also do every brand new channel member gets a channel member sticker and a little thank you note. So email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a little note and say thank you with a channel member sticker. It's my way to just, you know, let you know how much I appreciate you. If you've been a channel member all this time and you never asked for a sticker, or you were a channel member before and you became a channel member again, and you're both currently a member right now and you've never gotten the sticker, but you want one, email me as well. I'd love to mail you a sticker as well. I do have 3 different tiers. The top tier is the Uber Nerd. If you get an exclusive sticker, let me know if you haven't gotten one of those. I'd love to mail to Uber Nerds their stickers. As long as you're a current Uber Nerd, let me know. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to everyone out there. You allow this to happen. I don't do this full time. I do this part time, and if it wasn't for all you guys, there's times I probably wouldn't be doing this, but I keep doing it because I enjoy checking knives out. I enjoy knives. I enjoy the community. I enjoy you guys, and love the conversations. Even if we disagree, right? You can absolutely 100% disagree with me, think I'm an idiot. I'm okay with that. That's all right. But tell me why. Tell me why. We just don't insult one another. We don't call something stupid. We have a reason for it. Now, it may be stupid for you in certain circumstances or for others in certain circumstances, and give us a reason why, right? So if you have small hands and you want to carry this around and you want to be able to wield this, and I might think that's not the best knife, right? Because it's going to be hard for a small hand to deal with this one. Now, if you've got medium, large, whatever, this works really well. It's not stupid to carry, right? But if you got really small hands, this might not be the best one. There are smaller versions that would be better, right? If you got really giant hands and you like to carry the small OTFs, maybe this is something to consider if you don't mind carrying a bigger knife. That would be cool. So those are great conversations to have, right? Or maybe you can say, well, this doesn't work. Or like you can say an edge on both sides is stupid. Let me tell you why. Because I do, and I cut my finger and bop, but okay, hey, that's a good thing to think about. So if someone's getting one of these, don't get the double edge if you're doing this or you're this kind of person. Or if you do stuff and you're like, man, double edge is so great because when I have it and blah, 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 I do this, and you're like, oh, okay, no one thought of that. So the person's maybe looking to buy one, says, well, that would really help me. Let me get a double edge, right? So there you go. See how that's the conversation. That's the community. That's how we work. So that's what I'd love to hear. So if you get a chance to leave a comment, Just to let you know. All right. So also, what else? What else? I feel like I missed a whole bunch of stuff. We talked about channel. We talked about all that. Yeah. Well, okay. That's it. So thank you. Hey, if you haven't already, check me out on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.